Does anybody recognize anything on here? Does anybody recognize anything? Can anybody even point out where what do you recognize, Mateo?
The North American plate.
Yeah, do you see this? Do you see this right here, the North American plate? We're on this one, right? And I want you to look around here. There's actually a couple smaller plates that aren't shown on here, but there's this big one right here that takes up the whole Pacific Ocean. It's called the Pacific Plate. And it's actually, part of it's moving this way, so I'll draw a little arrow. Part of it's moving this way and bumping in to the North American plate, and this part is moving this way and bumping in to these plates over here, the Eurasian plate and the Indo-Australian plate. So it's actually moving, and it's kind of moving from the middle here. It's called a divergence zone, where it's kind of moving out like that. Yeah, Zach.
Why does it say Ring of Fire?
Ooh, because we're going to learn about that today. That's what we're going to learn about, the Ring of Fire. Alexander, do you know something about it?
Well, it's like, it's hard to explain. It's like the Hawaiian hotspot is on... Like,
Right there?
The Hawaiian Islands are made out of volcanoes, and they're on top of the hotspot where it's really hot.
Exactly. Well, we're going to learn about why this is called the Ring of Fire today. And do you see all these red? Here, let me get a red one. Do you see all these red dots here? Do you see these all? They're all over. Does anybody know what these red dots symbolize? Does anybody know what they symbolize? Jaden, do you know?
Hotspots?
They are hot spots. They also symbolize something else that grow on hot spots. Yeah. Volcanoes. And do you see how it's a big ring of volcanoes that goes all the way around the Pacific Plate? Because there are actually volcanoes all the way around. And I want to show you something. Look at this. I want to draw you a little picture. Isn't that cool? So I want to draw you a little picture over here. I'm going to draw it. So here is the North American plate. And it's kind of big and thick like this, right? So this is the North American. This is the North American plate right here. And out here is, I'm going to draw it a little bit thinner because the ocean plates that are underwater are thinner because they're compressed by the weight of the water. And this is the Pacific Plate. And it's kind of going this way. And the North American Plate, guess what, is kind of moving a little bit this way. Like that. And they're hitting each other. They're grinding into each other. And actually, you know what's really neat? Is right here is Oregon. This is where I grew up. So this is Oregon. Has anybody ever been to Oregon before? A couple of you have? Well, there's a little coastline right here. And you know what's happening is the Pacific Plate is running into the Oregon Plate like this. And can anybody guess which one's going to submerge under the other one? Who could take a guess? Which one's going to subduct? Which one's going to go down? Remember, the Pacific Plate has all this heavy water on it, and the North American Plate doesn't have anything on it except for mountains. Which one? Yeah, the Pacific Plate is subducting, and it's going down like this. So it's going underneath, and the North American Plate's staying on top like this because it's relatively lighter, and the other one's heavier, and it's going underneath. But guess what happens? As this plate, hold on just 1 second, is going down, it's rubbing underneath the other plate. I want you to go like this with your hand. Put your hands together. What do you feel? What do you feel?
Heat, and I think there might be a volcano forming by Oregon.
Exactly. Great, Alexander. So this is going down, and as it's going down, you got to remember, this is really super heavy. It's heavier than I am. It's heavier than you are. It's heavier than the entire school. It's billions and billions of tons, and as one squishes under the other, it's getting heat and pressure. Have you guys ever heard that before? Heat and pressure. Heat and pressure. Well, you know what happens? When it gets about right down here, all that heat and pressure, what do you think happens to rocks when they have enough heat and pressure? What do they start doing, Dakota? Oh, nice. They start melting, right? And what is it called when rock melts under the ground? Nyla? It's magma, right? So as this stuff comes down, gets all that heat and pressure, heat and pressure, heat and pressure, heat and pressure. Can you feel your hands getting hot? Go for it. Keep going, keep going. Can you feel them get really hot? Now imagine doing that times a billion. And your hands would actually start melting, right? And that's what happens to these rocks here. They start melting, and you start getting this big, huge mound of magma that's building up. And what do you think is going to happen after a while? As this magma builds up and up, Benno, what's going to happen? Yeah, look at this. As it grows more and more and more, it starts pressing against this plate right here. Do you see how it's kind of starting to press up? And look at this. And it'll eventually start leaking through, and it makes a volcano. Because it'll start pushing the magma out, becomes lava out of the ground, right?